sometimes I'm sad. I don't know what's over me. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm wild. I don't know what's over me. I don't know what's over me. I'm overthinking everything. At times me feel like nobody can understand the way I feel. Cause I am fucked up totally. I don't know how to keep company. So I've been drinking cognac. I've been drinking too many shots of cognac. One for the belly, another.
Miles, come back.
I'm gone, man. Me man gone
now. Come on home. Yes, indeed. We're back. We are. Really, we are. Just landing from Nigeria, Benin, and Ghana. What a trip it was. I'm sporting the shirt. African Focus Incorporated teams up with KBLA 1580. It's a vision that we had. I used to be at another radio station, and then I was working with this organization called African Focus, and we had a meeting and decided we wanted to start taking folks to Africa, bringing Africans and African Americans together, exploring this big wide world. And coming off of our Freedman Friday, for me, it's also about understanding that if I, as a descendant of enslaved Africans in America, or whatever you want to call it, as enslaved persons, as a freedman in this country, if I have an inheritance in the motherland and an inheritance in my home country, my beloved United States of America, I want it all. I don't, run me my money, run me my land. I want all of it. As Kendrick would say, I deserve it all. So that's where I am with it. I always love to hear from you. 800-920-1580. Tanya said in the chat that France is providing reparations for Caribbean brothers and sisters. Well, they're being demanded to do it. They're dragging their feet. They got reparations from Haiti for the harm that they had for losing their slaves. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But I think understanding that, yes, the French owe Haiti. The French owe, wherever they've colonized and pillaged, Burkina Faso, wherever it might be. The British owe Jamaica. The British owe, the so-called Commonwealth where they plundered Kenya, etc. And the U.S. owes us. And, and there is cases being made of some specific African nations owing other Africans and owing us as well. I mean, it's a international conversation. We decided we want to take people to the motherland. There's something really therapeutic about that, I think, right now. Just understanding in your brain and your body that there's a big wide world. There's black people everywhere. There's creative, interesting, conscious people everywhere. And you are not trapped. It was a journey of learning, ups and downs. People are asking about the food. For me, it's a lot of carbs, a lot of yams and rice and okra. And I'm sorry, but I do not like okra. I take my black card if you want to. Plus, they want to put so much hot sauce on everything. Everything is spicy as hell. How'd you find the food, Miles?
Mid.
We're talking Nigeria, Ghana, and to some extent Benin, because we didn't eat there that much. We weren't there that long.
All right, I'll say it was pretty mid.
Mid for you.
Very mid. Yeah, it had a lot of spice. I liked a little bit of spice. Not gonna lie to you, the spice kind of was it. Now I might hurt a couple feelings here. I don't get jollof rice in the hype behind it.
Well, jollof rice is basically dirty rice. I mean,
right.
It's just like rice with some tomato sauce and it's fine.
Like they were having beef, like, oh, who has the better jollof rice? I'm like, me.
Yeah. Well, I hope that Uchenna and Wargo and Emily and Wargo from African Focus are not listening. Uchenna, of course, is Nigerian and his wife is African American. And they love West African food. That's what they eat. It's not my favorite. I'd rather have Zanzibari food, Tanzanian.
Sure.
Food from Zimbabwe was amazing. Senegalese food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm not hating. I mean, it's just not. It's too many carbs for me and too much okra.
Right. And then, there was that. They substituted the meat on one of the spots.
Well, they had some interesting meats. There's a dish, I can't remember what it's called, that's cow skin.
Okay.
And you saw something. I missed that. What were you talking about?
Well, the leather is pretty funny if you ask me. A leather stew, cow skin stew is pretty crazy. They had a fried groundhog.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they said we're out
That's
of chicken
like
for the day,
basically
so
a
we're frying
squirrel.
up some groundhog for you.
Basically a squirrel.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
More like maybe a little more possum than squirrel.
Oh, that's even worse. Okay, and then they have and we sound like ugly Americans right now. I apologize for being culturally incompetent. It's not my favorite cuisine.
No. Skip the groundhog. I skipped the cow leather.
Yeah. Okay. But, it's probably, there's probably some nutritional value that we're missing. Lots and lots of chicken.
A lot of chicken, a lot of goat.
Goat. I actually liked the goat. The goat stew is one of the things I actually did like.
I was cool with a lot of the fish too that I had. I tried a lot of the fish.
Stew, and then the yam, fufu. It's like a mashed up, almost like grits, but it's more. It holds together more.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to scoop up. That was good. I like that. The yam fufu with the goat stew. That was good. That was about really the main thing I liked.
What stood out for me though, I liked when we went to the Voodoo Temple. Not Voodoo Temple. We went to the city on stilts on water, and we had the Voodoo meal and the drinks and everything, like the little things, like the nuts that they had.
Oh, that was
fire.
in Benin. Oh yeah, the peanuts and the cashews were so good.
Peanuts, cashews.
They
great.
weren't salty, but they had some kind of nice flavor to it, almost like a really nice roast on it.
Yeah, that was good.
That was delicious.
I did get down. I didn't eat a whole lot of it.
Was
I did eat that
Is that
rabbit
what it's
stew.
called? Kini. Oh, the rabbit stew. I took one bite. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, it was alright. It wasn't bad.
But I don't like rabbit stew U.S. style either. Like, no, thank you.
But that was my first time trying rabbit, so yeah.
It's not because I'm sentimental. I eat lamb. I eat deer, even though I love Bambi. But something about rabbit just doesn't work for me. Fahima says the red rice from Charleston, South Carolina is derived from jollof rice. And she's talking about the gullah geechee from her family. Yeah, okay, but it's just rice. I mean, I like the plain rice, actually. They make some yummy regular rice. I don't know. I don't like spicy. I don't like okra. Take my black card. Those aren't flavors that I like.
So the breakfast in Benin was actually pretty good. Like the beignet style breakfast. The omelets were good.
Oh yeah, the omelets were good everywhere in Africa that I've gone.
For me, what's been the best thing though. I'm a juice head. I loved the juice. The juice was incredible.
Well, I'm happy for you. I wasn't touching it because I wasn't going to get sick. But you know what I do love about West African food is they give you vegetables for breakfast. You'll have like sauteed mushrooms and steamed That was amazing. I wish we would do more of that. That would be such a great way to start your day.
A very filling breakfast is for sure. But that juice, Dominique, I'm telling you, that pineapple tastes like putting a straw right into a pineapple. It was amazing.
Yeah, and then I'll be running to the bathroom. No, thank you. I like my California pineapple juice.
A little preservative in there.
Or a lot. Actually, I'm kind of moving away from juice unless I juice it. Because it's concentrated and pasteurized. Or if April's Life in a Bottle juices it. Fixico from LA, good morning.
Oh, greetings, Madam President. Thanks for taking my call. Great program.
Thank
you. Concerning Freedman Friday, I am the great-grandson of Caesar Bruner, who was chief of the Oklahoma Freedman Bruner Band, and of John Renty of the Bilso Barkis Freedman Band. And I'm sure you've heard about them in Oklahoma. For Black Music Year, I have a free 5-minute video on YouTube for the family, and with your permission, can I give the name of it? It's just
absolutely. Go ahead.
Bill Fixico's Washboard Blues. It's fun. It's for the entire family, and the kids love the washboard. So that's all I got, Madam President. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for always putting things in historical context, Fixico. I think you would love, love, love Benin if you haven't already been, because there's so much history, and it's all it's more untouched because it's not a big tourist destination. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Thanks, Miles, for sharing your culinary adventures. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or 2 half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, thank you, and happy Friday. So Miles and I just got back from the Motherland with African Focus Incorporated and KBLA 1580. Now these trips, which we visualized in 2015, have become so popular that they sell out almost instantly. So if you want to go next year, you're going to keep it locked on KBLA 1580, or keep your eyes on my Instagram, keep your eyes on AfricanFocusIncorporated.org. So many cool people traveled with us. We had 2 assistant directors, 3 nurses, a doctor, some teachers, a rapper. We had a whole bunch of really interesting folks that were in this group, and among them a second AD, assistant director, second unit director. She's a communications and media professor at Santa Monica College, a student of Black history. And man, I started reading her bio offline off the trip, and she's quite an impressive, impactful talent within the entertainment industry here in Los Angeles. But we were on a journey to Africa, and I wanted to share with you what Professor Redelia Shaw had to say. Check it out.
One of the most beautiful things about our trips to Africa, and this year's trip in particular to West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, is that there are so many great and interesting folks that we get to travel with. It's just amazing. And you'll meet some as time goes by, in a home environment. And one of those folks, someone that I met long ago, but I've never traveled with, Professor Redelia Shaw. Wow. Thank you for coming.
Wow is right.
I feel like I didn't do a good introduction of you, but it's been a joy traveling with you.
Oh, yes. Likewise. Going to Ghana, Nigeria, Benin has been something I've wanted to do for a long time. After going to Ghana in 2007, I've always wanted to come back because I so enjoyed that trip. And I'm so thankful to you and African Trailblazers for allowing me this opportunity to accompany you on this journey that is so emotional, spiritually meaningful to me on so many levels. And you have no idea. And I had no idea that you were even doing this. I've been listening to your show for so many years since I moved to LA. And to be able to go on a trip with you has been really amazing.
Well, I think it's been amazing for me and the Trailblazers because, we've had some great conversations, but I hear you filling in the blanks. It's like this traveling professor, oh, and by the way, this happened because of that, and really connecting the dots between the African experience, the history of enslavement, which we've seen at these memorials, and African American, Black American freedmen history. I hear you connecting the dots for other people.
Yes, this is a passion of mine, is to connect these dots for our community in the North American diaspora, especially. I am a teacher at Santa Monica College. I am chair of communication and media studies, and I teach media theory and practice. And a lot of indoctrination to our young people and to ourselves come from media. So a part of that is demystifying some of these stereotypes and having students have an understanding of why we think the way we do about other folk. And so a part of that is understanding our journey in the transatlantic slave trade and how that impacted our beings in the United States. I think that's so critical and so important. And so I love sharing anything I know about that subject.
So you've been teaching this for years and years and years. And of course, you said you came in 2007. But on this trip, we went to slave memorials or enslaved persons memorials in Benin, Nigeria, and Ghana. What was that like for you, coming off the page and off the lecture podium into real life?
For me, it was walking in the footsteps of my ancestors and really feeling that journey with our bare feet on the ground, like our first world discomfort. And I can't even imagine what it was like hundreds of years ago. But thinking about how they suffered through that and the courage they had to continue on and keep moving. And I say this all the time, that us in America, in the diaspora, we're walking miracles because of the fact that our ancestors lived through that. And going to the Nigerian door of no return, seeing that and the difference, that long trek, I barely made it myself. And I was like, I have got to make it to this ocean because my ancestors did. I must make it. And I did. I'm so thankful I made that walk. And then in Benin, that was another experience that was amazing and beautiful. And of course, Cape Coast. I had been to that dungeon. I had been to Amin before, but Cape Coast was a different experience. And I felt my ancestors talking to me through the wind and the breeze that was going through the dungeon. It was amazing.
Yeah, that dungeon is a lot. It's just a lot.
Yes.
You know a lot about the stuff. You teach it. I mean, you teach media studies, but you're very, very informative around Black studies as well. Was there anything you learned that you didn't know?
What was very, how shall I say, encouraging to me is the recognition that some of our ancestors sold us into slavery, and acknowledgement
by the
Africans that they were, of course, victims, but also some perpetrators of this, and having an understanding that they too missed us, and they too have an understanding of that. And that was the first time I had heard that in a setting where they had acknowledged their part in this whole situation that we're in. I also learned through this experience, we always say unity, unity, unity. We want to unify. Kwame wanted to unify Africa, right? We want to unify all of us in the United States and in the diaspora. But we can't unify unless we have understanding. And being in Nigeria and understanding how they do things, being empathetic to their situations and their lived experiences, I can't put on them from my perspective. I have to understand from their perspective the world that they're traveling. And so I think that was really good for me to acknowledge what I learned. And being from a first world country, right, those comforts that we're used to having, and maybe feeling inconvenienced, I had to stop myself and temper that, because they're doing the very best they can. They're giving us the very best of themselves. When we come into their restaurant, when we come into their hotel, when they interact and engage with us, they're giving us their best. I like to think that. And I want to make sure that I am in appreciation of that. And all of us from first world countries are in appreciation of that.
It's interesting you say that, because on the one hand, we are, the ultimate victims in the situation. We were the ones that were kidnapped and sold. We are Killmonger, from Panther, the one that nobody came looking for, the one that was abandoned, the one that was abused, the one that survived against all odds and came out thriving and changed the world, became the moral compass for the world and a cultural, wellspring globally. On the other hand, we are the imperialists, right?
Correct.
We are the culture. We are the culture of capitalism and expansionism and American exceptionalism. And that has a side of it which is not pretty.
Right.
And I think it's interesting you raise that, because on the one hand, we're like, hey, we're Killmonger. How come you guys didn't come looking for us? How come you guys don't show us more love? How come you guys take us for granted? But on the other hand, we're like also the spoiled children of capitalism who are used to a certain standard and certain comforts and conveniences. So it's a very interesting sort of ironic dynamic.
And it's a nuanced conversation.
Right.
I think about this a lot, and we've been reflecting on this as well. Like Homo sapiens, right? We're the ones who outlived all the other homos that came before prehistoric era. And we know that the first woman was a Black woman, right? Mm-hmm. We are all DNA matched to her. But that means we killed off all these other homos that were around. And what does that say about us, right? And it's like
Homo just means man, for those of you who are acting stupid right now, right? So it's all of
yes,
the Neanderthals and all the
and Homo erectus and all of those.
All the different iterations of man. No, we were in Ethiopia on our very first trip, and I saw all those bones.
Yes,
and I was blown away because I knew about Lucy, but they have every other iteration of human,
and they were around all at the same time
in Africa.
But in Africa, because Princeton University actually has the original text of Ethiopian Christianity in their archives. It's amazing the stuff that some of the Ivies have, but let me not go into that conversation.
We'll do that another day.
But it's like That means that we conquered all of the other beings that were walking around, and Homo sapiens won out. And what does that say about us if we're connected to the original woman who sprang forth from people who look like us?
Right.
So I think that's a very important, nuanced conversation, but it's the yin and the yang, right?
I mean, and the other part of that is we're all human beings.
Correct.
Right? We're all sprung from the same mother. We may have evolved differently or mutated differently, but we're really all one family.
Yes.
So yeah, that's deep too. Dr. Richard King used to say, we're all black. It's just, we're all Africans. It's just your relationship to your blackness.
Yes.
But that's another show for another day, but kind of isn't. And to your point about we killed off all the other iterations of humankind, the Black American, the freedman, is like a superhuman in a sense. And I don't mean to glorify us in that way, but everyone that survived were the strongest. I mean, the ones, and we were bred to be stronger, faster, harder workers. We were literally bred like animals.
Yes.
So we are that guy, we are that woman.
Yes. And that's just so amazing about us, that we're still here. And no matter what any other entity tries to do to conquer that spirit, they can't, because we're connected to the Most High.
We're talking with Redelia Shaw. She's a professor at Santa Monica College, but she's also a trailblazer. An African Focus Trailblazer 2025 edition. We'll continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Columbia graduate Mahmoud Khalil is suing the Trump administration for $20 million, claiming false imprisonment and retaliation for his pro-Palestinian activism.
What I want is actually a real accountability against the injustices that happened against me.
Khalil was detained by ICE for over 100 days and says his arrest was politically motivated. Conservative commentator Charlie Kirk is under fire after blaming Texas flood deaths on diversity policies. On his show, he claimed DEI hiring hurt emergency response without evidence. Critics say the real issue is underfunded systems, not inclusion. And Jennifer Hudson will headline the 4th annual Whitney E. Houston Legacy of Love Gala on August 9th in Atlanta, Georgia. The event honors the 40th anniversary of Houston's career and includes performances, a symphony, and scholarships for HBCU arts students. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Because Bronny James played in only 27 games last season for the Lakers, he's playing with the Lakers rookies and free agents in the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. The Summer League tipped off Thursday night with Bronny and the Lakers facing rookies and free agents from the Dallas Mavericks, including number 1 pick Cooper Flagg. Both players had moderate debuts. James finished with 8 points in 21 minutes. He missed a potential go-ahead three-pointer in the final seconds. Flagg ended up with 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. He was scoreless in the second half. Dallas won the game by 2. The HBCU Swingman Classic jumps off today in Atlanta as part of Major League Baseball's All-Star Weekend. Major League scouts will get a chance to see the best HBCU baseball players from around the country. MLB Network will have live coverage beginning at 4:30 Pacific Time. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay! This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk Radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Catch Prep is now enrolling for summer credit recovery in fall 2025. As South Los Angeles' top-performing high school in English, math, and college access, Catch Prep is welcoming all 9th through 12th graders to enroll now. Catch Prep offers a small, supportive, and safe learning environment to help all students succeed, so that all students feel valued, respected, and motivated to reach their full potential. For the past 20 years, Catch Prep has helped more students of color gain admission to top-tier universities, with our graduating seniors earning a total of $3 million in scholarships, more than any other school in Los Angeles. We are dedicated to helping all students turn your college dreams into reality. Catch Prep is now enrolling. Visit us online at catchhighschool.com or call 323-293-3917. Spaces limited. Please enroll now for summer credit recovery and fall 2025. Call 323-293-3917 or enroll today at catchhighschool.com.
Hey man, hey, what's up? What's that station you listening to? Oh man, you don't know? That's Talk Radio, KBLA 1580 AM. Check it out. 1580 KBLA AM. 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're celebrating our 4th anniversary, and this track right here is the gift one of our devoted listeners presented to us.
Where you get some information, get a true education to know. Ooh, yeah. 1580.
How cool is that? Having a member of our KBLA delegation write us a song. Stop it! Our listeners love us, and there ain't nothing we can do about it. Wouldn't want to. Thanks to Cardell and everybody else for turning on KBLA Talk 1580. We love you right black.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has worksource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Tanya says she listened to us in Africa, the KBLA delegation in Africa, and the question was asked, why didn't the continent come back and get our ancestors? You're absolutely right. And they said that they didn't have the resources. I thought it was a really interesting statistic that one of the tour guides put out, that for every African that was captured and brought here on a slave ship, or attempted to be brought here on a slave ship, 5 died fighting to stop that from happening. It's a complex issue, and we're learning more and more. I'm going to continue this conversation with Santa Monica College professor and assistant director Redelia Shaw. She was part of our KBLA African Focus Incorporated delegation to Africa. Let's listen.
talking with Redelia Shaw. I really feel honored to have you as a traveler. I was so happy when I saw that you signed up for the trip. And it's like having our resident professor. And no, because the education is what we're seeing with our eyes, what we're tasting with our mouths, what we're hearing with our ears, the music, the culture, but also the conversations we have with each other. And one of the things I heard you referring to a lot was Bacon's Rebellion and talking about what that means. So explain to folks what that is and why it's important in the context of this trip.
Well, I recently discovered that in the past couple of years, the Bacon's Rebellion. Around 1860s, there was a guy, Bacon. We had indentured servants, we had enslaved Africans, and we also had Native Americans, indigenous populations, all working the land together for the 1%, the landowners. And we all had a respectability amongst ourselves. And something happened and someone got killed. And Bacon felt like, the landowners did not take it seriously enough. And so he got all of us together to do a revolt. And
white indentured servants, indigenous Native American people, and
enslaved
black slaves.
Yes. And we revolted for over a year, into the fact that the governor of Virginia had to exit and live off a boat for a while until the British came to help him out. But also Bacon got sick and died. And when that happened, the revolt kind of dissipated. And from that, in 1861, whiteness became legal doctrine. There's an author, researcher, Jacqueline Badalora, has a book called The Birth of a White Nation. And she premises her conversation around whiteness becoming legal doctrine in the United States, which set up, 1681, which set up everything in terms of how whiteness is discussed in the United States. And think about that. 100 years later, we have our independence and all of that happening. But in that 100 years, we have set up a situation where whiteness is legal doctrine. So when they made that decision, blacks were not allowed to testify against white people. White women, if you weren't allowed to marry someone outside your race. It was all the rules changed. Another thing that was very interesting is that the slave ships in 1700 were built for African transatlantic slave trade. Before that, the ships that the indentured servants were on, coming from Europe, the European countries, they weren't designed and set up like that. So
they were more humane.
They were more humane. I mean, still harsh. They were still treated, wrongly, but not like when they decided to enslave Africans how we were treated. And that was a very conscious, intentional decision that was made. And so that's why that's really important, that Data's understanding when whiteness became legal doctrine in the United States, it established all of these laws that came after it. Whiteness wasn't even a thing in the UK or in the European countries.
Dr. Gerald Horne argues in his book, which I can't remember the name of right now, that whiteness emerges in Europe around the 1600s as well, when they stopped using, instead of dividing people by religion, they decided to do it by race. And, for lots of different reasons, most of them economic. Mm-hmm. And so what you're saying is it becomes a legal doctrine, the law of the land of the United States after the Bacon's Rebellion.
Yes.
Because the idea of white people, white indentured, in other words, poor white people,
right,
Native American, Indigenous, First Nations people, and enslaved black folks getting together is highly problematic because we would have won.
Right. And after the rebellion broke up, the white indentured servants basically were told, like, okay, stop on the wrist, don't do this again. The enslaved black people were killed. And then in indigenous Native Americans, they ran off into the hills, they disappeared, they left. But the result of that was there was this hierarchy that was established. Where
the caste system.
Yeah, the caste system that we currently live under today.
And so take me to how that ties in with what we're seeing hearing and experiencing what we've seen, heard, and experienced during this real tour of West Africa?
It's kind of hard for me to put that in words.
For you, personally.
So one of the things I thought about was, and I said this a little bit earlier, that sometimes I feel like those of us who are survivors or ancestors of the people that were brought through the transatlantic slave trade were kind of the best out of Africa, which is not really true, but sort of, because we were able to make so much happen from so much strife and struggle.
And also we survived. I mean, my dad, Miri Baraka, has that line in the poem, which is, always haunts me. There's a railroad of bones on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And those are the ones that did not make it, that were also captured.
Right. Exactly. And I want us, again, to understand one another, to unify, so that we don't have a caste system between Africans that are indigenous to the countries in Africa, and African Americans and Africans in the diaspora. Because sometimes I feel like there is a divide, and I want us to understand each other better and more, so that we can connect more with one another, and us to not look like, I know, again, we come from a first world country. We're used to certain conveniences that aren't here yet, or in the way that we're used to seeing them. And so for us to understand where they are, and to also see how we can support and help our brothers and sisters in the different countries in the continent, to uplift and engage in a better way, so that we can all celebrate and unify together. So, I mean, that's a goal I have.
So 2 more questions. I know we got to go, but why in particular Benin, Nigeria, and Ghana for you?
Well, ancestrally, in my DNA, that's where I'm from.
Those are the 3.
The top 3. And Nigeria, 34%. Benin, I think, and Togo is like 16%, and Ghana is like 12%.
Wow, okay.
So,
you hit a grand slam on this trip.
Interesting enough, so it's Cromwell. It's like up there in like 10% area, but that's because, you know, the things that happened in the slave trade. But that's what is interesting to me, is that I know ancestrally this is where I'm from.
Your DNA is vibrating.
Yeah, I can look in people's faces and be like, oh, that looks like my auntie, that looks like my uncle. I met a DNA relative in the Bahamas in April, and I'm thinking to myself, well, of course, she also came by way of the transatlantic slave trade too, to the Caribbean, because I have a huge, family DNA line that live in the islands. So it's very interesting to me how we're all so connected to one another. And I just really want, and I really wish that I could bring this experience to all of us in the diaspora, especially the kids in America, because that's where I live and where I'm from, they can't all come here, which would be great, but how can I take this experience to them? How can they share in this with us? And so I have some ideas. That's one of the reasons why I came, is I'm developing some ideology around, how do I put this in the metaverse, this experience, so that students can interact and engage and be empowered. Some of my students are always like, my Black students, I don't want to see another slave movie. And I always ask the question, how many slave movies are there? Like, really think about it. How many? And they might take off like Amistad, which they weren't a slave, they were captives. That's a whole different thing. But they might take off like 5 or 6, right? And then my next question is, how many movies are there about the Holocaust? And there are infinite numbers of them. And I say to them, and I never hear Jewish people complaining about movies about this experience.
No, they say never forget, and they're right.
Exactly. And we should have this, well, let me not say should, that's a bad word. I am hoping that we can come to a place where we also feel similarly, that we don't ever want to forget this happened, and also not to feel downtrodden by it, but empowered by it, because we are walking miracles. And for young people to understand that, and maybe they will think differently about the lyrics they write and how they represent themselves in terms of one another and how we relate to each other as human beings. maybe we will, if we were more empowered and more engaged in our connectivity to the higher, the higher one, we wouldn't be so easily swayed by the shiny things, by the surface things, and we'll be more deeper thinking, conscious people, which brings us closer to the vibration of the earth, which is what we need to be experiencing while we're in Earth School. Like, this is Earth School. Once we transition, we're in a whole nother sphere, another dimension that our bodies in this form cannot even interpret. But our spirits are already there. We just have to get there from here.
So I know you teach broadcasting theory and real life. So I just want to say thank you for going along with our IRL, our in real life broadcasting, because it doesn't get any realer than doing 3 hours a day of radio from Africa. Any observations or thoughts on that?
Just thank you. It's beautiful being in the motherland. Thank you for allowing me a time to discuss my thoughts with you. And I pray I say something relevant and amazing that inspires someone out there that's listening.
You definitely have. Redelia Shaw, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI. Let K. Michelle's Kitchen Catering bring your world of flavors to your next event. For all occasions, from casual brunches to office lunches, weddings, and glamour affairs, call us today at 310-819-6213 or go to kmichellekitchencatering.com or on Instagram at kmichelles_kitchen catering or Facebook at K. Kitchen Catering. We look forward to cooking for you soon. Call 310-819-6213. 310-819-6213.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds. Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. I do not consider myself a fan of Sean Puffy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Love, Brother Love Combs. But one doesn't have to be a fan to acknowledge a simple truth about his recent jury trial. I think the primary reason he was acquitted of those sex trafficking and RICO charges is because he was overcharged in the first place. Mine is not to opine on his guilt or innocence on any of the charges the feds brought against him. But I predicted months ago that he would beat the most serious charges because, as usual, prosecutors have a really bad habit of overcharging black men. Dave Chappelle said it best, Puffy is in a RICO case all by himself, man. Hilarious and arresting at the same time. When prosecutors put a target on the backs of black men, they throw everything at them just to see what sticks. And too often, just like in the Puffy case at the very end, they move to dismiss some of the charges and then double down on the ones they think they can win. It's racist and it's wrong, and somebody ought to say so. I think I just did. Not for the benefit of Puffy, but on behalf of all the other black men who have been and sadly will be woefully overcharged in the future. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Continues right now, and you're welcome in at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Yes, we are here. We're live in Lamert Park, Africatown, Crenshaw District, USA. Reflecting, though, on a trip. And as I said, you can find pictures and more information at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. Please, if you don't mind, like, subscribe, comment. That is what keeps us strong against the odds, competing with these multinational corporations in the media space in a time when we all know black-owned media and independent voices are going to be more important than ever. Go into Carl, calling us from Inglewood. Good morning, Carl.
Hey, Dominique. Hey, how you doing? Happy to hear you back from your vacation and your journey.
Hardly a vacation. We did a show every single day, Carl. I don't know if you noticed. We broadcast from Africa. That's more than a notion. It was fun, though. I'll give you that. But it was not a vacation. Yeah. 50 members of our KBLA delegation, 51 traveled with me and Miles. And we broadcast in every single country. In the city, the country. We were recording, editing, going live. It was a hustle, not a vacation, but it was definitely a fun one at that.
Okay, yeah, I was listening. I caught it. Yeah, I seen your shirt you was wearing. One of them said Adidas on it. Was that a jersey or just a shirt that you wear? How do you explain that shirt?
Yeah, it was a jersey. Kind of well, Miles said it really well, Carl. The knockoff game, the bootleg gear game in Africa is at a high level. So I got it at like an outdoor swap meet. It's a soccer jersey. Okay. But Miles, there was all kinds of stuff. You can get Lakers.
So it might not be Adidas. It may say Adidas. It might not be Adidas, but
it might be Adidas. Right. Carl,
so I figured it was a soccer jersey or something like that, maybe.
It was a soccer jersey from the African swap meet in Ghana. So
Oh, okay.
That Miles's point. Adidas might have nothing to do with that. I don't know. It could be a Ye brand. I don't know. It might be it was super bootleg. I didn't care. I just liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was good. Hey, look, I like those flags too. I like that Kenya flag. Flags have been changed so many times, but I like that Kenya flag with the spear and the sword and all that stuff going through it. The spears and stuff in it. It gives me a little kick and stuff.
Yeah, that's in East Africa, of course, and that's where we went last year. But yeah, they have an interesting flag. They got 2 spears and a shield.
Yeah.
And it's red, black, and green, their flag.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day me and my lady will get us enough money and we'll take a cruise or a trip or get over there some kind of way with you guys the next time. Enjoy the weekend, Dominique. Bye.
Thank you, Carl, and thanks for coming with us virtually. That's the idea. Some folks will save their pennies and come. People were on a payment plan and all that. Some people will just come virtually. But if you're thinking you can't hang, you probably can. We had travelers from 20s all the way up to 97 years old. Yeah, we had a range. We say 3 or 4 generations we had all on one trip. And we had fun. But we're back now. Happy to be back in the Freedman Friday groove. And, of course, doing our thing. I am happy to remind you that the Best of Tavis Smiley is coming up next. He's got highlights from an incredible week. He had some great guests on this week. If you missed them or any of my shows from the Motherland or other shows, they're available wherever you get your podcasts, and they are free. We stream live on YouTube every day, so shows that you missed also live there, and you can get a chance to check them out there as well. Please like, comment, subscribe. Get the app. The app is new and improved. It's upgraded and updated. So it's the perfect time to get it on your phone. If you already have it, you're going to want to update it because it's got some great new features, and we're really proud of that app. I encourage you to keep the conversation with me going on social media. I'm everywhere at DiPrima Radio, DIPRIMA. And then radio, posting a lot more. Got my TikTok going, even posting on my YouTube channel, which is DiPrima Radio also, or Dominique B. DiPrima, and the B is for Baraka. Those of you who have followed me since the front page and even Street Science know that one of my favorite sayings is forward ever, backward never. Where does that come from? It comes from the first independent non-colonizer president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah. We just returned from Ghana, so I'll leave you with that saying today, which seems more important than ever in the throwback, go back, be re-enslaved, and denaturalized era of Trump. It is forward ever, backward never. Like my mama, the great Diane DiPrima, used to say, history is now, and we are making it together. Until next time, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now.